Hi, I'm Sam Moore. Welcome to 2005 version of Horse Progress Days here at Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I'll be your guide today as we look at some of the new machinery that's on the grounds. There's a vast amount of horse-drawn machinery being made these days, and it's mighty fascinating to look at. This is a Pequa 25 bushel ground-driven lightweight manure spreader, mainly for use by small horse farmers, hobby farmers. It can be pulled by a pony with a forecart, be pulled by a garden tractor, or it can be pulled by a bigger tractor, but it'd be kind of a waste. But anyway, it's made by Pequa Machine Company out of New Holland, Pennsylvania. It's got a lever to throw it into gear, and it's got a lever to set the rate of feed to spread more or less manure as you travel down the field.
This is the two-wheel drive model with a poly floor, removable paddles. The jack is standard on this two-wheel model, and they ask you to watch the excellent spreading action on this manure spreader.
This is a 25 bushel ground drive manure spreader made by Lancaster Manufacturing, and it's distributed by Mascot Sharpening and Sales out of Ronks, Pennsylvania. It's got a top beater that pulverizes the manure, and this curved shield shoots the pulverized manure down onto these widespread paddles, and the widespread paddles spread a nice even layer of manure. It's ground drive, 25 bushel. Again, it's for a small hobby farmer, guy with 2 or 3 horses, a dozen sheep, something like that. He can pull it right into his barn with his garden tractor, or he can pull it with a single pony, single horse, or a small team.
The dealer is here. They have a booth. They really want to talk to you. This is the original spreader company. They have heavy-duty casting throughout, a poly floor, 3-beater design. You can get an end gate, and they do show them an option for a front ground kit.
This is another Lancaster spreader. This is a 50 bushel capacity, and it's all loaded, ready to go. And it has the same features as the green one we just looked at. It's got the upper beater inside that pulverizes the manure, the shield that shoots the manure down onto the widespread paddles. It's a little bigger capacity, it's ground drive, and it's distributed by Mascot Sharpening and Sales out of Ronks, Pennsylvania. Again, this is a two-wheel job, so it needs a forecart to pull it. This is a 35 bushel ground drive spreader made by Easy Spreader Company out of Sugar Creek, Ohio. It's another one of the small spreaders that are so popular nowadays. This one has a top beater and a bottom beater to help pulverize the manure, and then it's fed back into these paddles which spread it in a wide even swath behind the machine. It's got polyplastic boards on the box to keep from rotting out, because the manure is very caustic and it'll rust out metal and rot out wood, but this polyplastic holds up very well. Got levers here to set put the thing in gear, and this sets the speed of the track and controls how much manure is spread per acre.
All spreaders are ground drive. Options available include a tailgate, a litter pan, lime attachment, band, brakes, and a 1-year warranty.
This is a 75 bushel, 4-wheel ground drive spreader made by Easy Spreader Manufacturing out of Sugar Creek, Ohio. You can see it's got the seat and a platform and a safety bar for the driver, so you don't need a forecart with it. Just hook your team to it and go. This lever here sets the speed of the conveyor in the bottom and governs how fast you're spreading your load of manure. Lever on the other side puts the spreading mechanism in gear. It has a top beater, a bottom beater, and then the widespread paddles in the rear. This spreader also has the polyplastic box to prevent rot. Okay, this is an H&S Model 125 manure spreader. It's power takeoff driven. Of course, this is the power takeoff shaft. This would normally be hitched to the power takeoff coming out of a motorized forecart or a tractor. This machine is made by the H&S Manufacturing Company. They're out of Wisconsin, and this particular one was furnished by Deer Country Farm and Lawn Incorporated, which is a local farm implement dealer.
They make these anywhere from 25 bushels to a whopping 660 bushel spreader. Now, how many horses would it take? You compute that, Robert, to pull a 660 bushel spreader. What do you say, Floyd? 660 bushel spreader, how many horses will pull it?
Belgians, pair of mules.
Four Belgians, 12 Perchers, what?
And 2 mules.
Another spreader from Lancaster Manufacturing, which is distributed by Mascot Sharpening Sales. It's a 100 bushel model, made similar to the smaller ones we looked at earlier. It's got steel sides, steel box, the upper beater, lower beater, and the widespread paddles to distribute the manure. This is a two-wheel job, pulled behind a tractor or a forecart. It's ground drive, it doesn't need any par takeoff to drive it.
This particular design of manure spreader is available in 25, 50, 85, and 100 bushel models. Lifetime poly floor, very well built with heavy duty gears, web, and bearing. You can have a 2-wheel ground drive model, which is what we've got the ground drive model here. They have 6 web speeds. It's available in John Deere green or New Holland red, rubber or steel wheels.
Bushel ground-driven 2-wheel spreader from Pequa Manufacturing out of New Holland, Pennsylvania. Pequa makes a full line of manure spreaders, most all sizes. It's got the upper beater, lower beater, and the widespread paddles, same as the rest of them. Requires a forecart, but it is ground drive, so it doesn't need any power takeoff. It's on steel wheels. A lot of the Amish farmers prefer steel wheels rather than rubber.
This is the original spreader used on farms across America for 30 years. A 3-beater design with a poly floor. You can get an optional front end and an end gate.
Okay, Pequa 175 bushel power takeoff driven machine. This is a large capacity and it requires a motorized forecart. It's got a steel box, rubber tires, and the single beater spreader in the rear. Made by Pequa Machine out of New Holland, Pennsylvania.
The heaviest point would be about right here, but when you draw your straps up nice and you hook it about here, these carts kind of counterbalance, and this isn't heavy at all here. I know I use a cart similar to this every day in the woods. I have for years. Young horses, old horses, and I've never had a sore neck because of the log cart or because of the tongue weight. It's all about fitting your collars right and keeping that tongue nice and high. This here is Forrest Manufacturing's log cart. It's got a lot of nice features. Place to hook your PV or cant hook, whichever the case. They seem to prefer cant hooks around here. That's real nice. A lot of times a log gets tight against a tree or something and you can't back your cart in there, and it's real nice to have this PV with you to be able to roll the log. Or, like the question was just posed, what do you do when you run out of room? You can take this cant hook and roll the logs a little bit closer. A feature I really like about this cart, we'll have to turn it a little bit, but there's actually a slot in this PV holder, and the PV cannot turn. It's okay where you are. And the PV can't turn. What can happen, some of these homemade carts that don't have a slot, if the PV is over here, that point rides right on your tires, and a lot of loggers spend a lot of time repairing tires because of that. And I'm sure this was trial and error until he figured a way so he wasn't replacing so many tires. A couple other nice features about David cart. He has a couple hooks back here to hook your lunch on, extra chokers, anything you'd like. I think there's enough room under your feet to put your chainsaw on there, or maybe you could even hook it over one of these handles. A pretty good comfortable seat it's a Pioneer seat with a spring, a guard between you and your team, and this tongue is removable. That's really nice when you're hauling the cart. A lot of us put the cart in the front of the trailer and the horses in the back so we don't have to make 2 trips to the log job. And if you take that tongue out, it just makes it so much more efficient. And if you've got a couple different teams, say you had a big team of Belgians that weighed a ton, and you also had a team of halflingers. You could use the same team on the same cart, just put a little bit shorter tongue on there. A real rugged hammer snapper right here, that's real important in the woods. These eveners are similar to the ones that most of the horse pullers use, and they're also made by Forrest Manufacturing. This wide single tree is real nice for big horses, especially these Suffolks with all the muscles. What the wide single tree does, it keeps this tug off the side of the horse a little bit, especially you can see some space right back here, and that keeps the horse from getting sore. A narrow single tree will have that tug right close to the horse, and when these horses get down and they're really lugging, the harnesses can really make them sore. But if you use good techniques, good fitting harnesses and collars like Chad has, and a good set of eveners, you can really cut down on a lot of that. And of course, the best feature of this log cart is the slotted choker bar. And I just remembered I don't want to be standing back here because these things flop up. I can get my leg pinched or something. You want to come around to the side when you unhook this choker bar. Just step them ahead a bit. And you see when he steps them ahead, it comes right unhooked. Chad's going to hook that team right onto Farmer Brown's log cart. You can just back up until the front of this arch hits the log. He knows it's right there. He can hook it up tight, and usually there's just the right spot in the woods to pull the log up tight. What you do, you kind of run over a rock or a high spot. The front of that log will be right up in the air nice. Drop your cart, the wheels down in a hole, and you can get a lot of lift. Another option also, and I think we'll do it right here since we got a lot of chain, and this is a great method for skidding big logs. What you can do, you kind of hook your chokers at a 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position with 2 chokers. I trust these horses quite a lot. There's not just every team I'd stand here and put my hands in there while they're still hooked to the log. You'll see as Chad pulls away that this system, even without a good spot to get lift, can really lift the front of the log. And that log's up 3 or 4 inches anyway, maybe 6 inches on the front. A log cart's not much good if all you can do is hook here on the flat and pull straight across the field. The woods, you end up getting a lot of tight spots and doing some weaving. And these combs really simulate that and show how maneuverable a log cart is. See, Chad missed that cone right there, and if that was a tree and he barked that tree on the way by, he could have pulled the bark off that tree, especially this time of year when the bark pulls easy, and that can damage the tree for as long as the tree lives. Yeah, and you can see he's making the good wide corner. You notice too, as these carts are pulling along, there's no tongue sway. A lot of carts that aren't specifically designed for logging have a lot of tongue sway, and that gives you sore necks in a hurry. But these log carts are well balanced and well designed, and they're a lot of trial and error. Anybody who really built a good log cart probably built 5 junk ones or maybe 10 junk ones before they found a good cart.
Horse makes this 3-point hitch cart. The cart's got the wheels, the frame, the tongue, and so forth, and it's got 3-point linkage to which you can hook any Category 1 3-point implement. This cylinder raises and lowers the 3-point. It's got tongue steer, hydraulic tongue steer. You can move the frame this way or that way on the tongue by use of that hydraulic cylinder there. This particular frame is set up for use with a plow, which White Horse also makes. They make this 2-bottom 3-point hitch plow. And what's unique about this plow is the fact that it has hydraulic reset for each bottom. Some plows have shear pins that break when the bottom hits a stone or an obstruction. Others have a spring hitch that unhitches it from the pulling power. But White Horse has come up with this hydraulic reset, which is plumbed into the hydraulic system. You can see the cylinder here and the arm at the back of the bottom. And if this bottom hits a rock or a stump or whatever under the ground, it overcomes the pressure in the hydraulic system, and this cylinder, this arm moves into the cylinder, and the bottom swings back this way, right over the obstruction, and the hydraulic power then resets the bottom automatically. You don't have to get off and do anything with it. It just resets itself automatically. It's a real nice feature and real unique too. Back in the old days, every plow manufacturer made gang plows, 2 and 3 bottom, sometimes larger than that. But probably in the 1950s, they all quit making gang plows, and this is the pioneer equipment from Dalton, Ohio, is making the first gang plow that's been built in this country since the 1950s. And this is a version of it. It's right hand. They make it in both right hand and left hand. They make it in 14-inch bottoms. I think 12, 14, and 16-inch bottoms. It's got a platform for the driver, safety rail. This is a lift lever to lift the bottoms out of the ground. It's got other levers to set the angle of the plow and the depth of the plow. It's got high-speed bottoms, cover boards, throwaway shares. This is a two-way plow made by White Horse Machine from Gap, Pennsylvania. This has a ground-driven hydraulic system, which is just a little different than the one we looked at, in that this hydraulic pump, instead of being driven by a roller chain, there's a cam on the axle, and it operates this roller, and this roller then operates this plunger, and then this is the plunger pump. And this plunger moves in and out and provides the hydraulic power, which is accumulated in this accumulator tank. But this is a purpose-built machine that's just used for the two-way plow. Two-way plow, of course, you can plow in either direction in the same furrow. Down that way, use the right-hand bottom, turn it to the end of the field, drop the left-hand bottom, you come back in the same furrow. This has the hydraulic resets feature that White Horse has perfected. If the bottom hits an obstruction, the cylinder operates, allows the plow to come back, jump over the obstruction, and then the hydraulic power resets the bottom into position. These two-way plows are handy for hillsides. If you want to throw all the furrows one way, they're handy for small fields or irregularly shaped fields. This one, I've never seen this before. It's got rain holders on it to hold the reins. These little weights are on an eccentric. You can slide the reins under them and drop the weight, and it holds the rein in position. That's an accessory. I'm not sure whether it's a white horse accessory or put on there by someone else. This is an older McCormick Deering two-way plow. It's been reconditioned by Baylor machinery. They rebuilt the thing and then added high-speed bottoms with the cover boards. It's got a lift lever for each side. It's got some other levers that set the angle of the plow. It's got the old style hitch for a two-way plow, in that whichever bottom is down, your double tree slides towards that bottom. That gives you the correct line of draft. That's all automatic. When the right-hand bottom's down, it'll slide to this position. You get to the end of the field and turn around and drop the left-hand bottom. This slides to that side and gives you the correct line of draft. It's not a new machine, but it still works. This is a right-hand 14-inch Sulky plow made by White Horse Machine from Gap, Pennsylvania. They make this in 12, 14, or 16-inch versions with either a right or a left-handed bottom, depending on your preference. It's got high-speed bottom, cover boards, the blade-type throwaway shares. It's got various levers to control the depth and the angle of your plow. The furrow wheel can be steered with this lever here. Kind of a basic little Sulky plow. Works pretty good.
Is that a white car?
Yeah, it was a white horse.
Go so far, and then if you want to go beyond it,
Okay, this is a 14-inch right-handed Sulky plow made by Pioneer Equipment from Dalton, Ohio. This is available in 12, 14, 16-inch right or left-hand bottom, depending on what you want. It's got levers for setting the depth and the angle of the bottom. It's got a steering lever for the furrow wheel. Got a nice toolbox. This one has a tongue. I think it's available also as a tongueless version. And this is the tongueless version where we just looked. It's built very similar to the one we just looked at, but this one doesn't have a tongue, as you can see.
Now this particular Sulky plow, which we've seen around for a long time, is featuring a bottom that some of you may never have seen. This is the European style Kavernland bottom. It does a better job of plowing in all types of soil, especially in sod and heavy muck type soils. Turns the soil in a longer and slower motion than standard bottoms. The coulters have a fluted blade with an adjustable stem and a tapered roller bearing hub. This particular style of bottom has been brought over by Pioneer from Norway. It's something that's been designed in Europe, where they have a long history that kept going after we quit designing horse plows in the 40s. They kept working on some of these innovations, and they've come up with something that's a little bit more easy on the horses. Now, I was talking to the Wenger family. They were telling me that all of their tests indicate this particular bottom is pulling anywhere from 10 to 20% easier. That's a very significant savings in draft efficiency if you're going out to the field to work. It could make all the difference in how your horses feel the next day when you go back out to the field.
Farmer Brown's Plow Shop up in New York buys up these old plows and rebuilds them. This particular model is a John Deere Syracuse two-way plow. Still got the cast Syracuse moldboard and share. This is for throwing a furrow either to the right or to the left. You can plow down the furrow and turn around and come back in the same furrow, you're throwing all your furrows the same direction.
Please, thank you.
Farmer Brown's Plow Shop from New York kind of specializes in Leroy plows, which was a famous old plow maker also from New York many years ago. And this is a Leroy plow that he has brought to show how the old plows worked. As you can see, it's got wooden handles. It's got a cast iron mold board, share, shin, land side. It's got a jointer, gauge wheel in the front. It's got clevis here for adjusting your horizontal line of draft. And this clevis can be raised in these notches, can be moved up and down to get your vertical line of draft straight. Farmer Brown's Plow Shop. A 14-inch right-handed walk plow made by Pioneer Equipment from Dalton, Ohio. We've got got wooden handles. Everything else is made of steel. The braces, the rail for riding on when you flop the plow over at the end of the furrow. It's got a high-speed steel bottom. Got a jointer, gauge wheel, clevis for the horizontal line of hitch, holes for the vertical line of hitch. Pioneer makes these in 12, 14, 16 right and left-hand models.
They feature a side braking joiner for better trash coverage, adjustable depth wheel, depth gauge wheel, steer handle slide to protect the wooden handles when you're dragging it along the ground, and a convenient swivel hitch clevis. Next up is Robert Redford's younger sister, Rich Hodeby, and he's driving an I&J 3.10-inch plow mounted on an I&J manufacturing forecart with a 3-point adapter. This unit can come in 8-inch or 12-inch radix bottom, is also available as a simple walk-behind model.
This is a 4-bottom Oliver tractor plow that's been modified slightly for use with horses by the addition of a operator's platform, guardrail, and seat. Now this has a mechanical lift. This rope operates the mechanical lift. The rope used to go forward to the tractor, but now it's operated by the driver up here. In this particular case, it's being pulled by a white horse hydraulic cart, although the hydraulic's not being used. It's just, the machine's just being used as a basic forecart. This 4-bottom plow is used to demonstrate the 12-mule hitch. It's a popular feature of every Horse Progress Days. Everybody wants to see the 12 animals pulling that 4-bottom plow. And they handle it very nicely too. The 4 mules in the wheel team are hooked to the single trees and double trees and evener at the back, right in front of the cart. The swing team is hitched about the front of the tongue, and the lead team is hitched to the front of the ropes. And with the pulleys even the load, and it makes every horse pull his share of the load, and it works real well. It saves all the weight of 3 rows of eveners like they used to use with a 12-horse hitch. You'd have had 3 rows of eveners just like those ones on the at the base of the tongue. And they're heavy, they get in the way, and horses step over them. This rope evener system is much improved over that. This is an 8-inch 1-bottom walking plow made by I&J Manufacturing from Gap, Pennsylvania. It's just a pretty simple little machine. It's got 2 handles. It's got a rail here to ride on when you're pulling it that way. It's got a small 8-inch bottom with a throwaway share. It's got the adjustable clevis hitch. You can adjust it this way for your horizontal side draft. You can adjust it this way for your vertical side, your vertical line of draft. Be nice for a garden plow.
It comes in a 10 or 12-inch radix bottom. It's a simple, lightweight, functional plow with 1 or 2 horses, but looky here. We're going to try this plow with an ox.
I&J, the springtime harrow, I&J calls it in the back. As you can see, it's got 3 rows of springtime teeth with duck foot shovels on the end of them. It's good for weeding. It's made by I&J Manufacturing. Just another use for their little 3-point hitch cart and a small 3-point implement.
The S-Time technology is great for lifting and loosening action, which you'll see when it goes down through on that disc ground there.
This little 5-foot disc is made by Groffdale Machine from Leola, Pennsylvania. You can see it's a small disc. It's got a hand hydraulic pump to raise and lower the discs. It's got rubber tires, so when the discs are raised, you can transport it very easily on the rubber tires. Both gangs are permanently angled. You can adjust the angles slightly by unbolting them, and they'll pivot a little bit. But the angle is pretty much preset. The rear gang is locked in position right now to follow directly behind the front gang. By operating this latch, you can unlatch that rear gang, and it can swing to follow the front gang and curves and so forth.
This particular one is the M12 because it has 12 discs on it. It's 4 feet wide, so it can easily be put in the back of a pickup or a trailer and hauled around to do custom gardens if you like. It's got the shock absorber up front there on that adjustable, that adjustment up front there for back and forth, so that you're not cutting in more heavier with the front disc or the back disc. This real nice and even, as you can see there. That's probably going down there, what, about 5 inches at least?
This is a 3-point hitch cart made by I&J Manufacturing from Gap, Pennsylvania. It's got a hand lift. Got 3-point adjustments here for your angle on your 3-point arms. This particular case, there's a small 4-foot 3-point disc hair mounted on the cart. The disc hair is not made by I&J, but the cart is. This is a roller hair. It's made by Horse Manufacturing Company, and it's made and sold by Baylor Machine Company. It's 4 feet wide. It's got 2 rows of spring tooth hair teeth in the front. It's got a roller in behind. It's nice for working up a garden and smoothing it before you plant.
There you can see the way that would break up clods in the springtime. If you have some hard dirt clods and you put that roller over top of it, it'll do a real nice job for you. You got the weight of the driver on there to help to make the roller work well. A lot of rollers have an opening on the side to put water in direct to work as well. I don't know if this one does or not.
Flip over transport disc. Right now it's in the transport position with the wheels down. In order to use it in the disc position, you unhitch it, flip it over, bring your tongue around and hook it up, and then you've got your discs down. About as simple a transport disc as you can find.
Here we have Rich Harneby with his Fjord, and he's pulling this flip disc. Henry's demonstrating how it works. You just bring it out, turn it around, and hook it back up again, and you're ready to go. Another innovative idea for making a disc a transport disc. Takes a little bit of pull, push and pull, but it works.
An I&J 4-foot tiller. The tiller's, of course, power takeoff driven, and it's got these tines that spin around and dig up the dirt, and it's one pass soil preparation. You go over it once with this, and your soil is nice and smooth and well worked up and pulverized. Makes a nice seed bed. In the demonstrations, they were using this ahead of the mulch layers to work up the soil and get a nice seed bed. And then they'd lay down the mulch and the drip tube, and then they'd come along later with another implement and plant. This cultivator is from I&J Manufacturing, Gap, Pennsylvania. It's also for use in the mulch produce business. So you can see that the tines are set 4 feet apart so it can straddle the row of plastic mulch and cultivate between them, between the mulch rows. Just a modification of I&J's regular 2-row cultivator. It's got the lever for raising and lowering the gangs. It's got foot steer to steer the wheels, so you can dodge around things you don't want to hit. This is a little 5-tine walk-behind cultivator made by I&J Manufacturing from Gap. Used for behind a pony or a halfling or a small horse. There's not much to it. It's got a lever here that you can set the teeth wider apart, further together, closer together depending on the width between your rows. All you do is you start your horse down the row and you walk behind it and hold it in position, and away you go. We used to use one very similar to this when I was a kid in our big garden at home.
Once you lay plastic down, usually you put that on 7-foot centers. You got about 3 foot in between, and this is just an ideal piece of equipment to cultivate between the plastics. You've got one horse. You can steer that cultivator by leaning one way or the other. And if you've got a small garden and a large pony, you know, this would be an ideal piece of equipment for working at home. You can handle a lot of, several acres of produce with plastic just to cultivate in between the plastic rows.
Pioneer 3-section spring tooth harrow made by Pioneer Equipment out of Dalton, Ohio. It's handy for, breaking up clods, digging up weeds. The harrow teeth are spring steel, so that for rocky ground it's real handy too, because these spring teeth will ride over the rocks. The angle of the teeth is set by the lever to be more or less aggressive. It's got raker teeth on the back for smoothing. So it's kind of a combination spring tooth smoothing harrow. This little 1-row cultivator is made by Iva Manufacturing out of Norwich, Pennsylvania. It's got foot pedals, one on each side, that steer the wheels for close cultivation. It's got a hand lift, lower and raise the gangs, cultivator gangs. Got spring tine cultivator teeth with duck foot teeth on them. Just a pretty basic little 1-row cultivator. This is a 2-row cultivator made by I&J Manufacturing from Gap, Pennsylvania. It's got hand lift, raise and lower the gangs. It's got foot steer for close cultivation. It's got spring tine arms and duck foot teeth here. That's a crow's foot teeth, duck foot teeth, whatever you want to call them here. It's for cultivating 2 rows. This is an older John Deere KBA disc, 6 foot in width. Groffdale machine from Leola, Pennsylvania, has made a specialty out of rebuilding and refurbishing old John Deere tractor discs, and they use them for use behind forecarts. These particular discs are probably 40 or 50 years old, but they are a nice machine. They put, Grofdale replaces all the bearings, the spools, puts new disc blades on them, rebuilds everything so it's nice and tight. This lever, there's a rope on this lever that the driver can set the angle of the disc gangs. It's got 2 gangs in the front and 2 gangs in the rear. The 2 front gangs come out so they're, one's angled this way and one's angled that way. And the rear gangs are angled so that one is angled out that way and that one's angled out that way. And these various holes here just set the degree of angle of the disc gangs. This is a Pioneer 2-section spike tooth harrow. Each section is 6 feet, so the total width of the harrow, this particular version of the harrow, is 12 feet. It's a pretty simple machine. This lever sets the angle of the teeth. For more aggressive, if you want a real aggressive harrowing, you move it back to the back so the teeth are virtually in a vertical position. For less aggressive, you move it as such. For transport, move the teeth flat. Pioneer makes this in just about any width you'd want. A Pioneer 6-foot blade. This blade's handy for leveling, moving dirt. It's adjustable. The angle of it's adjustable. You pull a pin out here, and you can swing the blade to straight, throw it this way or throw it that way. This is the lever that raises the blade. It's got a couple of shoes to keep the blade from digging in too deep, and they're adjustable.
This is a raised bed plastic layer, and this is manufactured by Nolt Manufacturing in Leola, Pennsylvania. This is actually one of their new innovative models. It's got steering for side draft here on the back. That's what the guy on the seat's going to do. He's going to keep it, especially on a little bit of a hillside. It's pretty easy to make crooked roads, and with this steering, you can keep it straight. This will make a raised bed. The next layer coming up is going to do a flat bed. The raised bed gives you a little bit of advantage if you're on soil that gets wet easily. It helps to drain, especially if you get a lot of rain, and the weather we've been having around here lately, you know, this isn't a problem. But early in the spring, this raised bed also helps warm up the soil a little bit more and gets those plants growing a little bit faster. This one will lay plastic either 3 feet or 4 feet. Today we've got a 4-foot roll on there. And you'll see it gathers the dirt in front, and then the discs back on the back there will cover it up on the side. And it really takes 4 horses to pull this one.
seed bed's prepared and the mulch is laid, they come along with this transplanter. This is also by Nolt Produce. It's got a water tank. It's got racks that you can put flats of seedlings in. It's got a wheel that turns. This wheel is lowered on the center of your plastic mulch, and as it turns, these teeth puncture a hole through the plastic and into the ground. There's a hole through the wheel here, which the wheel's full of water, or has water in it. So as the hole's punched, there's a spurt of water is released into the hole to give your seedling a little moisture to start with. Then two people ride back here, one on each side. They've got flats of seedlings in front of them, and they take turns sticking a seedling through the holes in the plastic mulch, and they give it a little, each seedling they got to stick it in and give it a little twist to kind of set the roots. The water gives the seedling a start, the mulch keeps the weeds down, and you end up with a good crop, hopefully.
We're set up today just to plant a single row and plant tomatoes, and the yellow tank holds water, and usually we mix in with that some Miller's 1248-8 fertilizer, which is a good starter fertilizer. Gives the plants a good shot of energy to get started growing. It's high in phosphorus, and gives them a nice shot of water. And you'll see as that wheel goes around and punches a hole in the plastic, it'll fill that hole up with water. And as fine as this ground is today, that silt just kind of sucks into that hole, and the boys are going to push those tomato plants down in. Now, they're not going to drop them in the hole. They're actually going to push them down in there and give them just a little bit of a twist.
Yeah.
Now, the mules just, they've learned how to walk down that plastic in the first row, and now they're just running perfect. That's a good gait for a seed produce. This is a nice, slow gait like that. Nice, slow gait like that. Might surprise you.
I&J Manufacturing from Gap, Pennsylvania has made this machine. It straddles the plastic mulch, then you can have a liquid fertilizer, which you can apply at the same time. This has got a 24-volt battery, which powers the pump, which pumps the liquid fertilizer into the rows.
This is called a roller sprayer. Now, there's some folks in the produce business that are laying their plastic in the fall or close to winter time and planting wheat or ryegrass in the aisleways. That's the area between the plastics. And then we let that grow up to maybe 12, 18 inches tall, and then go through with this machine, and the rollers roll down that living mulch, and then the shielded sprayer sprays on Roundup to kill it. And go ahead, so the horses don't get too excited there. Just go ahead.
Pequa Planter Company makes these horse-drawn planters using John Deere planting units. Pequa Planter Company is located in Gap, Pennsylvania, and they make these in 1, 2, 3. I guess that's all I've ever seen, 1, 2, and 3 row versions, so they probably make it any size you want. They use the John Deere Max-Emerge planting units. They build the frame and put the wheels on it. It's got a bin for fertilizer. It's got the seed cans for seeds. It's got 24-volt hydraulic lift system to hydraulically raise the planting units up from the ground. It's got V-disc openers, which open a trench in the soil. It's got press wheels, which at that time the seed is dropped into the trench. It's got these press wheels which firm the soil on each side of the trench. And then these wheels these V wheels close the trench behind.
These are precise two-row planters using John Deere Max Emerge units. They come with or without fertilizer attachment, dry or liquid fertilizer.
This is a Truax Flex 2 8-row drill. It covers a width that's a little over 5 feet. It's for no-till drilling. It's furnished by I&J Manufacturing. Requires remote hydraulics to operate it. These discs till up a strip of soil ahead of the planting units. Planting units then each has a V disc opener which opens the trench in that little strip of tilled soil. And the seed and the fertilizer dropped in, and it's got press wheels behind that close the trench and firm the soil over the seeds.
Trash discs remove the trash to allow seed to get proper soil contact. The result is good germination. Handles a broad variety of seeds, pulls easily with 4 to 6 horses.
This is a double fold sprayer made by Fisher Spray Company out of Ronks, Pennsylvania. It can be anywhere from 45 to 60 feet wide. The side booms are extended hydraulically. The height of the booms above the ground can be adjusted with a hand crank here and a winch. It can go up as high as 7-foot clearance over your rows. This particular model is a 45-footer. It's got a 300-gallon tank. It's got foam markers at the end of the booms. As you can see, some foam leaked out of this one. That's how you see where you've been. And you got these booms spread out 45 feet. Go to the end of the field and turn to come back. It's pretty hard to tell where you've been, so that you watch where the foam is, and that's how you tell where you were the last time. Got a separate freshwater tank for rinsing any chemicals out of the system when you're done, or for rinsing off your hands if you get stuff on you, get chemicals on you. It's got a Subaru Robin engine on it to power the pump and the hydraulics.
And of course, you can use this on hay or many other crops. This tool is very sweet form up to a certain height.
This sprayer is made by Iva Manufacturing from Narvon, Pennsylvania. It's a single boom. The boom can be extended hydraulically. This particular one doesn't have a foam marker, but it does have a 7-horse Subaru engine. Powers the hydraulic pump, and over there's the pump for the liquid that's in the sprayer. These are used for spraying pesticides, herbicides, whatever you want.
Now this one will raise up to 8 feet, And you can spray right over top of sweet corn with this one. Options on this are tandem wheels, rinse system, inductor tanks, and up to 400 pounds pressure. This one right now is set up at 300 psi, and tank size is from 200 to 500.
Trailer type field sprayer from Iva Manufacturing out of Norwalk, Pennsylvania. It's got a 4.5 horsepower Subaru Robin engine here that drives the pump to pump the liquid through it. It's got foam markers, the ends of the boom. Boom is manually extended. And it can also be raised up and down. The boom can be raised up and down by means of this winch.
They do have available options of boom sizes anywhere from 30 foot to 45 foot. The trailer type has a 150-gallon tank, but can come all the way up to 750 gallons. They have foam markers and hydraulic folding booms.
Field sprayer is made by Fisher Sprayer Company from Ronks, Pennsylvania. It's got a 35-foot boom. Got a 6 horsepower Subaru engine to power the pump. It's got a freshwater tank for rinsing. Your media tank. And it's a manual fold. There's no hydraulic on it. You know, the boom folds out this way and that boom folds out that way, and it covers an area 35 feet wide.
It's available in 30-foot boom with a 200-gallon tank. What size tank do you have on there? You know?
150.
150-gallon tank is on the one we're looking at. 15-gallon water tank with a rinse nozzle is available on the 35-foot boom, 7700 by L roller pump, 6 horsepower Robin engine, 150-gallon tank, no drip nozzle bodies, 14 30-inch rows.
I'm Charlie Pinney from Wales in the United Kingdom, and I farm with horses on the top of a mountainside. We've got about 30 acres of good ground and then another 20 or so woodland around the edges. And we make most of our work with the horses now, and I'm over here just to try and show what the European view of the machinery is. We started off doing ground drive stuff, which has a lot of uses because it's low in pollution and so on, but it has a lot of limitations too, so that's why we've come up with this multi-purpose forecart with an engine on it, which you can take off and use it as a simple forecart as well. The most important thing is, because you can take it into different sections to do different jobs, the horses are only pulling around the bit of equipment that's needed for that job. In other words, as in the configuration at the moment with the pasture topper on it, that's fine, but it would be silly if we wanted to go ploughing to have the engine on as well, because the engine isn't needed for the ploughing. So we've designed a system that the whole engine unit slides off, and you put in its place a bench seat with a little hand pump to work your hydraulics, so that in fact you can tailor the configuration and the weight of the hitch cart, or the forecart, whatever you like to call it, to the job in hand, and that's the unique thing about it. For example, as it is in this four-wheel configuration now, that's at its most complex, if you like. We've got a standard Category 1 3-point hitch at the back so that you can hitch up your implements, and we've got a 540 PTO. Okay? Now, what you can do, for example, I mean, this isn't a hay cutting machine, but supposing you imagine we've got a conventional sickle bar mower, we go out and cut our hay with that. okay, in that layout. Then on the same layout we put our turner and swather and make the hay ready. We're now ready to bale it, okay? The sun's been shining, unlike in Wales all the time. So what we do now is to take the whole rear axle away, and we then got back to a basic two-wheeled forecart with an engine on it, which we can use to pull our baler, okay? We've baled the hay, we've got all the neighbours around to come and cart it. So what we then do, we don't need the engine anymore. What we do is to slide the whole engine unit out. It has 4 legs that actually clip into the frame, so that you just slide it out of the hitch cart frame onto its little sub-chassis, pull it out the way, and put a bench seat in the front. And all we've got then is just a simple, basic, classic two-wheeled forecart with a bench seat. We couple it up to the trailer and go and drag the hay in. So we can tailor the layout of the machine to exactly to each operation precisely, and that's the most efficient way of doing it.
My name's Barb Corson, and I'm from York County, Pennsylvania. And this is a Norwegian harness. The things that make the Norwegian harness different from typical English harness, if you will, one thing is the collar. The collar is joined top and bottom with leather straps, and then there's a wooden hame on each side which is padded. So instead of having the collar separate from the hames, they're attached. And it makes it easy to put on, and it also means that the collar can move with the horse's shoulders a little bit instead of rocking like a full neck collar does sometimes. The second thing that makes the Norwegian system different is the back pad or saddle is metal or sometimes wooden rod that's rigid, and then there are these pivoting pads that sit close to the horse's withers. And the third thing that makes it different is the harness ring. And when it's set up, the draft comes here from the collar, obviously, and hooks there. The saddle hooks there, and the breeching does too. And then the shaft is connected to this harness ring. My shaft is not typical Norwegian, it's kind of jerry-rigged, but you get the idea. The connection between the harness and the load is this plate of metal called the ore, and it's just a plate that you can slide through. If we were in Norway, there would be a slot in the shaft. It's just very apparent how, when I saw them using the horses in Norway, it was so easy that they could just put that slot through the shaft and hook the horse quickly without having to worry about traces and then separate backers, the way I was having to do with my English harness. So we just were plowing with this horse a little bit with this set of shafts, and it worked pretty well. And I'll just drive her around a little bit so you can see the harness and how the collar moves when she does. More recently, I went to Norway and worked with a horse trainer over there named Olaf Nyby. And then I asked Olaf if he would make harness for me, and he did. He comes to the States once in a while and he measured my horses and made a harness to suit them. So I've had the harness for about 4 or 5 months now, and I'm still learning how to adjust it and how to use it properly, but it's been a lot of fun, and so far I haven't found any disadvantages really to it. It is quick to use. I find it easy to put on. It's adjustable between my 2 draft mares they're both draft cross horses, and so they're a little different in the way they're built, but the harness is adjustable to either of them. And I can use it for draft work, for plowing or skidding a log, or I can use it in my cart too.
Well, my name is Erhard Schroll, and I'm from Germany. I am a publisher and editor of German Draft Horse magazine, and I've been here for the first time in 2000 in Kansas, Horse Progress Days, and I'm interested in the development of equipment and machinery for draft horse use. We've got the Horse Progress Days that are similar to your Progress Days. We try to promote working with horses and to demonstrate to people the possibilities of working horses, and we try to feature modern horse-drawn technologies there. The main difference to your Horse Progress Days is that our German ones is probably more American than yours. So we have a lot of different competitions like plowing or logging or pulling competitions and a really big show program. And we normally have between 15 and 20,000 visitors each year. I'm interested to see how you do things, and I'm one of the organizers of the German Horse Progress Days, so it's interesting to see how you manage that, and yeah, I think we can learn a lot from your work, and maybe you can learn something a little bit from ours.
I&J makes this 7-foot mower. They take a 3-point hitch tractor mower, mounted on this frame they build, and it's powered by a 25 horsepower Subaru Robin engine. It's got hydraulic lift. It's got, of course, the PTO drive to the mower. The mower knife and the guards work in opposite directions. It's kind of a scissors cut. The guards be moving this way, and the mower section will be moving that way. The mower can be removed from that 3-point hitch cart. It can be used for other implements. Esch Manufacturing makes this mower conditioner. It can be used as a mower strictly. It can be used as a conditioner alone, or it can be used to condition as you mow, whichever you prefer. It's powered by a 25 horsepower Subaru engine. It's got a 9-foot cutter bar, which is hydraulically powered. There's a hydraulic motor right there that runs the belt that powers the cutter bar. It's got 2 rubber conditioning rolls underneath. If you're conditioning as you mow, you've got your blade down, of course, and you're cutting a swath here. In the meantime, you're conditioning the swath you cut the last round. And the conditioning system, of course, is it picks up the hay and squeezes it between these 2 rollers, and that crimps and breaks the stem so it dries faster and more evenly.
Conditioner is available with rubber or steel rolls. This unit is all hydraulic. Conditioner has a spring flotation.
Peachy Mower Shop from Belleville, Pennsylvania reconditions McCormick Deering mowers. It's probably as old as I am, but anyway, it's been rebuilt with a 6-foot cutter bar, new clips, knife sections, guards, so forth. It's equipped with a front truck which keeps the tongue weight off the horses, and this is a caster wheel type truck. Recently, when mowing machines had a 2-wheel front truck set out a little further and the tongue actually steered it. In this case, the tongue just steers the mower and the caster wheel follows. But at any rate, it does, the weight of the front of the mower rides on the caster wheel, and that relieves the horses of the weight of the mower.
Some folks don't know that the McCormick Deering made these mowers right up until 1948, and underneath the toolbox, if you get down in underneath it, you'll see a raised cast plate that has a series of numbers that'll tell you the day, month, and year this came off the assembly line.
This is an older new idea mower conditioner, and it, of course, is part takeoff driven, and it mows the hay, passes it between two steel rolls, which are crimp rolls, conditions the hay, and shoots it out the back in a windrow. In this case, it does it all in one operation. It mows and conditions at the same time. Esch Manufacturing makes this 9-foot hay conditioner. Esch Manufacturing is located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a power takeoff driven machine. It's got a hydraulic cylinder to raise and lower the conditioning rolls. It's got 2 rubber conditioning rolls with a herringbone pattern, and it picks up the mown hay and passes it between the 2 rolls, and the pressure and the herringbone pattern crimps and breaks, bruises the hay stems so that they dry more evenly and more quickly. In this case, of course, it's a standalone conditioner, so you have to mow it first and then come back and run the conditioner over it. This is a Morra 4-basket hay tedder. It's made in Italy. It's power takeoff driven. Hydraulic cylinders will let the end baskets down into operating position. As it moves forward, the rotors turn this way and kick the hay to the rear and lift it, turn it so it can dry out in case it's damp. This is a little I&J 2-basket hay tedder, power takeoff driven. As the tines spin, they kick the hay, loosen it and fluff it so it can dry better. Got an adjustment here for your height of the teeth above the ground.
17-foot models are also available. These headers will scatter hay and will turn hay upside down in proper conditions, leaving no wheel tracks.
This is a Pequa 7-foot hay tedder. This is ground driven. Instead of being the basket type hay tedders like we've been looking at, this is a reel type. And as you move it forward, the tines turn this way and it kicks the hay up, fluffs it, dries it.
Krone rotary tedder, model number KW550TH. This tedder is priced at $6,350. Local dealer is Hotailing's Garage, WF Williver, and Triple H Equipment. You can get these tedders up to 49 feet wide. It's the heaviest, strongest built tedder on the market. This unit will handle 2 9-foot mower swaths, hydraulic folding and adjustment, round tine arms with 5 wraps on the teeth. Staggered teeth assure both teeth strike the ground evenly. Thanks to Pioneer Equipment for letting Krone use their power cart.
This is a Vermeer 10-wheel rake. There's a hydraulic control on it that allows these arms to come down. And then the wheels are in a V formation. It says it'll rake 3 7-foot mower swaths into a single windrow in the center. Because as the wheels come out like this, well, you've got a V formation as such. It requires a hydraulic forecart to operate. It's got a center kicker wheel, which picks up any little bit of loose hay in the middle that might be missed otherwise. They say it's good for use on rough ground because these wheels have spring tines and they'll ride over rough ground very easily, but still rake the hay into a windrow. And these wheels are not powered, they just turn on their own. By contact with the ground is what causes the wheels to turn. This is another 10-foot V wheel rake. It's actually built in Italy, but it's distributed in the USA by Ag Equipment out of Laverne, Tennessee. It's got remote hydraulic hoses, so it requires a white horse hydraulic forecart to operate it. And the hydraulic cylinders, when they operate, they let the 2 arms down. You got your 10 wheels in a V formation. You got a kicker wheel to pick up anything left in the center. And this operates again by the wheels contacting the ground, causes them to turn and move the hay into a V-shaped formation, into a windrow. This is a Miller Pro power takeoff rotary hay rake. As you can see, it's got the arms coming out from a center hub. It's got the teeth here, and as it rotates in this direction, there's a gearing in the hub there that causes, right about here, these arms, the rake arms, start to turn forward and lower the teeth down to contact the ground. They move around to the other side, and then about the back corner at about 11 o'clock up there, the teeth start to raise. And by the time they reach here, the teeth are fully raised, and that drops the hay in a windrow right back here. This is just a wind guard to help maintain the integrity of the windrow. These rotary rakes are said to, they invert the hay for one thing, so they're good for wet hay, raking wet hay, like to turn it over, let it dry. Plus they don't rope the hay like a regular side livery rake does. They just leave it in a straight windrow without winding it in a rope.
The Miller Pro is a pretty popular rake. They noted for a little more teeth, a little closer together, and just a little nicer sweep to it.
This is another rotary rake made by I&J Manufacturing out of Gap, Pennsylvania. And this is a ground drive model, although I&J makes a power takeoff model as well. But this model is driven right from the ground wheels, and it operates in a similar fashion to the Miller Pro we just looked at, in that the rake arms, as they rotate this way, they also rotate this way on the shaft. Starting right about here, they're straight down, they catch the hay, move the hay around, and then back in the back they start to raise, and they drop the windrow at this side, along this side here. These, this is it's a 10-foot width, and it's kind of wide for transport, but it all folds up. These arms can be easily removed from the hub. There are holes here that you can stick the arms in to carry them. This folds up. The other side folds up, and it comes down to about a 6-foot width for getting through gates and stuff.
A Pequa hay rake, model number HR10. This is available in 2 additional sizes. This particular rake has an 11-foot raking width with an 8 horsepower engine. Standard hydraulics for lifting, made in the U.S., tandem walking beam axles on there, and it has a pretty slick lifting action on it, doesn't it, Floyd?
Yeah, you want to notice this once he gets out there and sets this thing down, about the uniqueness of the design on that hydraulic to set that thing down so it rakes level, the rake sets up and down. Very unique the way that ring works.
This is a Vermeer 5400 round Baylor. It was furnished by Glenn Beidler of Freeburg, Pennsylvania, a local dealer. It makes bales, makes round bales, the big large ones. They can be anywhere from 4 feet by 5 feet to 5 feet by 6 feet. And it's good for either dry hay or high moisture hay that you make silage out of. It's got, of course, the power takeoff shaft here, which comes from the power cart, and that furnishes the power for the rubber belts which roll the hay inside and make the big round bale. It's got wheels here to guide the hay into the pickup, which is underneath the front of the baler. Gadget right here tells you how large your bale is and when you have to stop and tie it off. This arrow moves down the scale, and when it reaches here, then that's a 5 foot in diameter bale. Of course, you can stop it sooner than that, but you have to stop it, and then it ties it off. It wraps the twine around the bale to tie it off, and then you eject the bale out the back.
The 5400 is ideal for teams due to its light 4,000-pound weight. It handles both dry and silage hay and requires low horsepower to operate. This unit is equipped with hay saver wheels and flotation tires. Monitors are optional. This is a model 447 from Deere Country Farm and Lawn Incorporated. They also have a 457, which is the 4x5, a 467, 4x6, a 557, 5x5, 547, 5x6, or 5x5, and they also have a 5x6. This baler that we're looking at is owned by Henry Stoltzfus. Krone round baler model KR125. Krone round balers have low horsepower needs and low repair costs. All Krone balers will handle all types of hay, wet or dry. An additional bale kicker is available so the team does not have to back up to drop the bale.
This is a new idea, 7205 straight through Square Baler. A company called John E. Landis. They mounted this engine on the baler to eliminate the need for a power takeoff. This is a Briggs & Stratton 29 horsepower Vanguard V-twin engine. And it's belted right to the flywheel of the machine. Normally your power takeoff shaft would have come forward to your tractor or to a power cart, but this eliminates the need for power takeoff. Pickup reels underneath, picks up the hay and shoots it right straight into the baling chamber and right straight out the back. This is a new, well, I wouldn't say it's a new concept, but it's a more recent concept. The older balers all had to pick up off to the side, and the hay had to go up and then in and then into the bale chamber, which created a lot more opportunities for jamming. So this straight through design is much better in that respect. Got the two knotters here on the top to tie the strings, and of course the bale was just pushed out the back. And this chute is set so it'll push the bale out and raise it up, and there's a hook a wagon behind, and it'll push the bale right onto the wagon.
This is excellent for haylage. It makes uniform bales, and the baler has a pre-packing chamber in the feeder for uniform and solid bales. Vanguard big block engine for torque and power. 1/8-inch bale with self-tie knotters, converted, and this has been converted from a New Holland 310. Esch hay equipment is the manufacturer in Strasbourg, PA, and they're also the dealer. Now, this baler can be set for field or stationary baling. It can be powered by PTO, hydraulic, or electric. The baler makes these little tiny bales with variable lengths according to the setting. The bale has many uses, the main one being decorative straw bales for porch decoration. Also can be used for horses, like one bale is 1 feeding per horse, great for in-horse trailers at races or shows. No open bales scattered around.
This is a bale loader and hauler. It's made by Brandywine Welding out of Honeybrook, Pennsylvania. It's hydraulically operated, and they've got a 13 horsepower Honda engine on it to operate the hydraulic pump. This is the tank for the hydraulic fluid. And these levers operate this fork, which comes down, and then you pull it forward, and that slides those forks under a round bale. And then the hydraulic power lifts the bale back up and dumps it in here on the bed. And there's a conveyor belt in the bed that you can move that bale back, put another one in front of it, and then move it on back further. It hauls 3 small round bales and 2 large round bales. When you're ready to unload, the conveyor moves the bale back to here. The hydraulic, one of the hydraulic levers raises this and pushes that down that way, and then the bale just rolls off. After the first bale's off, operate the conveyor belt again. It moves the next bale into position, and it can be rolled off. This is a somewhat similar bale loader. It's an Elko bale loader. It's made by Sunny Hall Hay Equipment out of Lycans, Pennsylvania. And it's got the hydraulic tank, a 13-horse Honda engine. It's got the hydraulic valves up here to operate the various components of the machine. It's got the fork, which can be let down, slide under a bale, raise the bale back up and dump it on the conveyor. Move the conveyor to the rear, and the bale moves back, pick up another bale. This one, again, will hold about 3 4-foot round bales, and it probably holds 3 5-foot as well. To unload, the bale's moved on the conveyor back to here, and this back end tilts this way hydraulically, and that just tilts the bale and it rolls off that direction. Once it's unloaded, then you move another bale back and do the same thing with it. This Technobale 900 bale mover is also furnished by Glenn Beidler from Freeburg. It's made in Beaumont, Quebec, Canada by the Innovation Agrico Adam Company. It's somewhat similar to the others we've looked at in that it has the two forks that are let down hydraulically, slide under the bale, raise it up, and it rolls onto this tray here, which is a solid metal tray. There's no conveyor on this. But there is an A-frame type arm and a pusher, and that's operated hydraulically, and it just pushes the bales to the rear. To unload, the bales are pushed back onto these two arms. A bale is pushed back onto these two arms, and the arms are let down and the machine's pulled out from under it. Okay, this is a round bale mover made by Trail Farm Supply from Dundee, Ohio. Got a 5.5 horsepower Honda engine to run the hydraulic pump. Got two control valves. Says it'll haul two 4x4 bales or two 5x5 bales. And to load a bale on this machine, these two arms are let down, level with the ground, and then they're slid apart hydraulically. The thing's backed, so the arms are on either side of a round bale. Then you operate a hydraulic lever and the two arms move in underneath the bale. And then you operate the other hydraulic lever and these arms come up and set the bale right on these rollers. And the rollers are just free rolling. So in order to unload, when you get to where you're going, you again let these down and just manually push the bale right off and then pull the thing out from underneath the bale. This is an Anderson RB9000 bale wrapper. Can make tube wrap bales. It's from Martin's Farm Supply, Greencastle, Pennsylvania. The bales are, the round bale is laid on this platform back here. It's moved forward through the wrapper, which is right here. And as it's moved forward, it comes onto these rollers. Another bale is put behind it, and as it's pushed forward, it continues to wrap. This platform is down at the time, so the row of bales just keeps coming off of these rollers. When you get to, when the end of the bale tube gets on the ground, then these drive wheels can be activated, and the whole machine just moved that way. That way you could have a string of bales from here to Fort Knox, I guess. Okay, this whole machine is powered by a 13 horsepower Honda engine right here, which drives a hydraulic pump. And from there on, everything is operated hydraulically. All the hydraulic cylinders move the various functions and cause their hydraulic motors then that drive the front wheels. There's a hydraulic motor that drives the bale wrapper. This is a small square bale wrapper made by Esch Manufacturing from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, powered by a 4-cylinder Kubota diesel engine and a hydraulic motor. This case, a number of small square bales are laid in that area right there. There's a plunger that comes up, pushes them into the chamber, compacting them. As those compacted bales are pushed out of the chamber, they're immediately wrapped with several layers of plastic polyfilm, which holds them into in their compact state. This can make a long tube bale. You just keep pushing the bales through, and this keeps pushing them out and wrapping them as it goes. They use a big foam end board. Start out with that, and it's wrapped in as part of the tube. When they get done with as long a tube as they want, they put another one of these foam plastic end pieces on the other end, wrap it, and then you've got a solid tube that should be airtight. And this system, these bale wrapping systems, are used for making haylage. The bale high moisture hay and wrap it tight, exclude the air, and it ferments in there and makes a form of silage.
wealth of information and insight into logging and farming with horses, mules, and oxen, be sure to subscribe to Rural Heritage Magazine. Every issue features a wide array of articles to suit both the novice and expert teamster. From ideas on new techniques to the latest in equipment advances, Rural Heritage Magazine is the indispensable tool for every logger and farmer making a living or just having fun with draft animals. Also, don't miss our extensive collection of books and videotapes covering everything from driving mules to logging with horses to training oxen. Call 931-268-0655 or visit www.ruralheritage.com.
The end.